Hey all, Hibber here. So today we are doing yet another Agile Udaloi video here because I really like this ship and I really like it with this build here. So this is obviously an Agile build where we go all out on agility and speed and not so much on concealment, which is, you know, the more traditional way of playing destroyers. So let's just have a look at the build here. So for this build I use Makarov, but I have the Snow Maiden guys on right here. But you can see the inspirations are Azure Lane Baltimore and Takao. And then other than that we have Ingenious and all the speed and rudder perks. On the ship we have the improved AA, because this ship is very powerful at AA. And then we have double steering gears, very like traditional Agile setup here as well. And then we have the main battery mod in the end. 3 heals, 3 speed boosts and 3 smokes. So you got pretty much everything here except radar basically. So 1.2 second rudder and 41 knots, making this ship here extremely agile. Like the turning radius is really small, and that's why this build is actually feasible on this ship here. This ship, along with Tashkent and Le Terrible, they are pretty much the only destroyers that you can get away with an agile build on. So with this build you are obviously very mobile, and spotting is probably the most important thing you can do in this ship here, especially with this build, which is what I'm doing in this game here. It's not really that much of a damage game or kill game. I think I get out with 2 kills. But obviously hunt down destroyers, spot the enemy and cap. That's pretty much what you do, and I think this build here is perfect for it. If you end up in 1 versus 1 destroyer duels, this ship can struggle a bit. Not so much because of the build, but simply because it has like a 7 or 8 second reload on those guns there, making it a little bit difficult to take on some of the more nasty opponents, especially like Fletcher, for example. And obviously if you run into a legendary destroyer, well, then you are in for a tough time. Except that this destroyer is really tough, so you can really take a beating in this thing here. And that's also why I don't really run concealment on it. I just get in there, spot the other destroyer and take the damage I may take, and then whack the other destroyer. And I have heals and smoke and, you know, speed boost to get out of trouble quickly. So it's not that much of a problem for me. And usually once I get into a confrontation in this ship here, like I lose what amounts to about probably 1 heal. So I just heal up again, and then I'm back to pretty much full health, and I can go out and be a menace yet again. So it's a fun ship, and it's a fun way to play destroyers. And I'm not saying it's better than concealment, because I don't think it is. But it's different, and if you get sick of always playing the hide and seek game when you play destroyers, then I highly suggest you give this build here a crack, because it's actually fun. And of course it doesn't have to be the ship here. So just here I'm getting into trouble. There was 4 people targeting me, so we just used the smoke to get out of trouble. And like you rely on your smoke in this build here, because you don't have the concealment to really like be a total like you cannot get all the way up and shave all the ships. Like you are about 6 kilometers away or something like that, but it doesn't really matter. If you have a full concealment build, you're at like about 5 kilometers anyway, so that's 1 kilometer. And other than spotting destroyers first, it doesn't really matter that much, because there's so many other things you can do with this build and this ship that makes up for that concealment. So kind of play it like a small cruiser, really, like a small, very tough cruiser, or a big fat and surprisingly maneuverable destroyer. That's how I play it, and that's how I have fun playing it. So this kind of plays into my philosophy in this game here, that if I play, you know, a different sort of ship, I want a different experience. And I'm sure you know that I'm not the biggest fan of Baltimore and Des Moines and all those cruisers there, because in my opinion, and really in real life, they play just like battleships. You get into a position, and then you sit bow on, and then you shoot until the enemies are dead. And yeah, sure, you can do that, but why don't you just play a battleship then, and get that experience there? What I'm saying is that if I play a cruiser, I want to play something different, just like in a role-playing game. If I play an archer, I obviously don't want to run around with an axe. I don't want to be up close and personal. So that's kind of my philosophy, and I don't know this for a fact, but I do think that this is also what wargaming is trying to promote a little bit in the game, that you actually set the ships up a little bit different depending on what type they are. I mean, yeah, you can play every ship like a battleship if you want to, but my goodness, that gets boring. Battleships are already the most boring ships to play, so why would you set up every ship in the game to play exactly that way? If you know what you're doing and you have some pretty high-level commanders, you can definitely set up some more interesting plays and builds. So finally, I got to see that Friesland. I've been chasing him all game. And I used the agility to pretty much avoid most of his salvos there, and then keep an eye on all the other ships at the same time, because you don't want to get whacked by some cruiser out in the middle of nowhere. You gotta be awake. He's a little bit much to take on here, so I have to smoke up, and he's still spotted, which is obviously perfect. So we'll just keep pounding him now that he can't hit me. And this is like, you gotta be ready to use this smoke, because it is one of those things that will save you with this build here. And also keep in mind that with this build, if your engine gets taken out, well, then your engine is out, and you have to use your damage con to actually get it back. So keep that in mind too. It's not that this ship here actually loses its engine that much. I don't think it ever happened actually. But if it happens, just keep that in mind. So like I said, I kind of like to approach this game as a role-playing game. Well, not entirely, but I mean, all you do is you pick up, or buy, as it is a wargaming game, you buy, improvements, as in insignia and commendations and all that stuff for your ships and your commanders, and then you build your character or your ship the way you want it and the way that suits your style of playing. And that's something I like in this game, is the flexibility. And I mean, yeah, some people say, oh, but there's only one right way to play a ship, and yada yada yada. And I'm sorry, that's just wrong. That's not the case at all. Some builds are better than others, absolutely yes, and some builds are more difficult to play than others, absolutely yes. But that's just the way it is. There's nothing new about that. That's the same in every game in the world. So, I mean, in the end, this is like a long-term game. Obviously, it's been around for 3 years, and most people still play it. Just gotta reset this Riga here, because we don't want to give up the cap. So, obviously, also one of my jobs, resetting cruisers that think they can cap. And again, resetting caps is something that... And there I actually lost my engine right there. Oh, well, there you saw. And then I used my damage con to fix it. Like I was saying, resetting caps is something that a lot of people in the community or in the game still don't understand the importance of. Because if you can reset a cap, like in the case of this Riga here, I force him to sit in this cap here for another minute, like completely like in open water, no cover at all, and no one's shooting at him, so we're gonna have to reset him again, meaning that this Riga has been sitting broadside inside our cap for probably 2 minutes now, and no one's taking a shot at it, other than me. And I can't really, do anything bad to him. I can just reset him. But like situational awareness, people. The most important thing in this game here. If you position in a way where you can't defend the caps, and there's the engine again. There was a bit. I probably said too early that the engine never goes out on this thing, didn't I? I just lost it twice. But again, no one shooting, and there is a battleship not that far away. But it's up to me. But I have to retreat now. I simply cannot keep up this battle here with the Riga, so I'm going to stop firing, and then I'm going to hope that I make it. But you can see the battleship inside the cap contesting it now, so that's nice. That's perfect. That's what we want. So I can retreat now. He should be able to take care of that Riga there for me. I'm just going to wait to go unspotted, so I might actually survive this encounter here. So we spotted the Riga and we kept him from capping, because he's getting pounded by the battleship now. Had I not reset him, he would have just capped and then slithered off somewhere where he could be in a better position to defend himself. But because I kept resetting him and forcing him to stay inside that cap that he had already committed to, then that's the end of him. I mean, that battleship could have been in a little bit better position early on, but it still worked out fine. We're still way ahead now, 750 points, and we're going to get the last cap now. As opposed to the Reds grabbing that cap with the Riga and actually having a chance of getting back into the game. Now that's absolutely not the case. They're not going to get into this game again at all. And as you can see, my health is down to nearly 3,000. So I'm going to play a little bit less of an active role here in the last part of the game. Probably just going to spend most of my time spotting here. So here we have an unfortunate Iowa, and yeah, he's sitting broadside on for weird reasons. So I'm just gonna smoke up, because this cruiser here that's on some sort of suicide mission is spotting for me, so I can sit here and set him on fire pretty much uncontested. And should he approach, then we have plenty of torpedoes to give him a taste of. And it does look that he is actually turning this way here, which is perfect. So I have more than a minute left to smoke, so I'm just gonna sit here and shoot at this guy. And of course, the cruiser got sunk, because that was a pretty foolish thing to do there. But we're still spotting him, so that's fine. Just want to get another fire going on this thing here, and just checking my torpedoes as well. And there's the other fire, and still 50 seconds left on the smoke, so there's plenty of time. We're probably going to be able to burn this guy down here before my smoke dissipates. So we might actually be able to finish this battle here off with a torpedo hit. There are still 2 red ships left, this battleship here and a cruiser somewhere. But obviously I can't really touch that cruiser, and I'm out of everything now. So I'm going to, if I can, I'm going to try to spot this cruiser, but that's it. I cannot engage anyone right now. Except if I am super lucky and someone pops around the corner, I'm able to torp them or something like that. And look how like crazy this ship here moves. Like, the turning radius is so small, and with 1.2 second rudder, this is just like, it's just so much fun to sail. If you haven't tried an Agile build, I would suggest popping it on this ship here, and then just getting the feel for how much fun it is. Because this is like power sliding around in a Russian destroyer, people. I tell you, it's fun. Alright. I am having a look for this last pesky cruiser here, but as you can see on the points, we are pretty much winning in just a matter of seconds, so there's not really much I can do here. Quite a convincing victory here, 1,000 to, well, 10 to 1, basically. And that's about it right there. So this was an Agile Udaloi, guys, with Makarov on, and Azure Lane Baltimore and Takao, and 1.2 second rudder, 41 knots, and tiny turning radius. Like, lots of fun to play. Really, like, very satisfying to play. So hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you out there.